Giants fans, question. Would you trade Saquon Barkley for a first-round pick? I want to hear from you down in the comments section. Type Y for yes, type N for no, and let me know, would you deal Barkley for a first-round pick? Welcome into New York Giants Now by Chat Sports. I'm your host, Marshall Green, and the question of the day, the question all over Giants fans' minds is this. Does Saquon Barkley want to be traded? Remember, Monday, it came and went. The franchise contract extension deadline, it also came and went. And the Giants were unable to get a long-term deal done with Barkley, which means he either A, has to play on the franchise tag, B, the Giants can work out a new one-year deal, or C, he can hold out and sit out games until week 8 rolls around and he has to make a decision on that. The reason, though, we're asking, does Saquon Barkley want to be traded, is because he has taken out the part of his social media bio on Twitter, on Instagram, where it says running back for the New York Giants. That's what his Instagram bio used to look like. And then yesterday, he changed it, and it just says Saquon Barkley. He removed where it said running back for the New York Football Giants. He also did that on Twitter, and now everyone is asking me, Marshall, does this mean Saquon Barkley wants to be traded? Does this mean we're going to trade it? Does this mean he's gone? Does this mean he's not going to re-sign? We're going to break all that down in today's show. But the news of the day, Saquon Barkley removes mentioning the New York Giants as his football team. This is why you subscribe to the channel, though, ladies and gentlemen, because if any news, any rumors, any update, any information comes out from Saquon Barkley, we're going to break it down on this channel. So subscribe and turn your notifications on so you never miss a thing. This is childish behavior. This is very immature behavior from Saquon Barkley. I'm very disappointed in the way he is going about handling this situation. On top of this, on top of doing the thing that ex-girlfriends do when you break up with your significant other, you delete their pictures on Instagram, you take their initials out of your bio, whatever the kids are doing this day. Saquon Barkley went to that level. It's immature, it's childish, and it's baby stuff, man. It's a joke. I'm embarrassed for Saquon Barkley. Not a fan of this whatsoever. So coming up around the corner, we're going to talk about some potential trade destinations for Saquon Barkley. If Saquon Barkley was to request a trade or the Giants were to trade him, I have 3 teams that I believe will be at the top of the order for Saquon Barkley to be traded to. But first, I got to give a huge shout out to today's sponsor, Z-Biotics. And I got to be honest with you guys. Sometimes after those super chat paloozas on the live streams, that next morning is not all that great. That is until I found Z-Biotics. Z-Biotics pre-alcohol probiotic is the world's first genetically engineered probiotic. It was invented by PhD scientists to tackle rough mornings after drinking. Here's how it works. When you drink, alcohol gets converted into a toxic byproduct in the gut. It's this byproduct, not dehydration, that's to blame for your rough next day. Z-Biotics produces an enzyme to break this byproduct down. It's designed to work like your liver, but in your gut where you need it most. Drink Z-Biotics before drinking alcohol, drink responsibly, and get a good night's sleep to feel your best tomorrow. I love the packaging that Z-Biotics comes in. It's really smooth. It's really sleek. It could easily fit in a carry-on bag or one of your toiletry bags if you're going out of town. It comes with 6 individual bottles in the case. It's awesome. I love Z-Biotics. And you can save 15% off at zbiotics.com/chatsports or scan the QR code on the screen right now to get 15% off your first order when you use code CHATSPORTS at checkout. You can also sign up for a subscription as well so you can stay prepared no matter the time or occasion. Z-Biotics is backed with a 100% money-back guarantee, so if you're unsatisfied for any reason, they'll refund your money, no questions asked. Go to zbiotics.com/chatsports and use the code CHATSPORTS at checkout, or you can scan the QR code on screen right now. You guys are going to love it. That link is clickable in the comments and description of today's video. Another thing that I wasn't a fan of that Saquon Barkley did was he went on a podcast called the Money Matters podcast on YouTube. It was a great episode. You should go check it out. But some of the things he said on the podcast really didn't sit all that well with me. He said this, quote, "My leverage is I could say F you to the Giants. I could say F you to my teammates and be like, you want me to show you my worth? You want me to show you how valuable I am to the team? I won't show up. I won't play it down." And that's a play I could use. Anybody who knows me knows that's not something I want to do. Is it something that's crossed my mind? I never thought I would ever do that. But now I'm at a point where I'm like, Jesus, I might have to take it to this level. Am I prepared to take it to this level? I don't know. That's something I have to sit down and talk to my family, talk to my team of advisors, and strategize about this. That first quote where he pretty much said, I could say F you to the Giants, and I could say F you to my teammates. Giants fans are not happy about that. I've been on Twitter. I've been in the comments section. I've been reading things are sending me, and Giants fans are not happy about the way Saquon Barkley is handling this situation. I also thought that this tweet that he liked yesterday was really interesting. So if you look at what this guy on Twitter tweeted, I'll read it for you right now. It comes from Copizzle. Shout out to him. He said, when Daniel Jones had his fifth-year option declined, he didn't run to a podcast and start crying. He put on his big boy pants, kept his mouth shut, and took the Giants to the playoffs. That's what real leaders do. I wonder why Saquon Barkley liked that tweet. This is going to get ugly. It ain't going to be pretty in the next couple of weeks for the Giants. I do not expect Saquon Barkley to show up to training camp. I do not expect Saquon Barkley to show up for the preseason. I don't expect Saquon Barkley to show up to the Giants practice facility in East Rutherford until you have that week where the preseason ends, then you have a bye week, and then you have the regular season starting. I believe the earliest Saquon Barkley will report is at that bye week in the middle of the last preseason game and the first regular season game. If it ain't going to be Barkley and getting the rock in the backfield for the Giants, it may be newly acquired running back James Robinson. It could be Matt Breida. It could be Eric Gray. But one of these guys is going to have to step up. If someone doesn't show up, if Saquon Barkley doesn't show up, someone's going to have to step up, whether it's Robinson, Breida, or Gray. Thing is, though, they're not 26. They're not the number 2 overall pick. They're not Saquon. They're not the best running back in the league. It's definitely going to be a tough loss for the Giants to overcome. So before we get to those trade destinations for Barkley, I want to ask you this question. A little over-under, a little game we got here on today's show. Half a game sat out by Saquon Barkley this year. Does he sit out more games? Does he sit out 0 games? I want to hear from you. If you think it's more than a half a game, which means you think it's at least going to be 1 game, type O for over. If you don't think he's going to sit out a game, type U for under. If he does sit out a game, it costs him about almost $600,000 per game if he does sign that franchise tag worth $10.09 million. All right, let's get into it. Saquon Barkley trade destinations. I do believe that the Giants and will believe that the Giants will at least listen to Saquon Barkley trade offers at this point, right? If they don't think that they're going to franchise tag him next year, they don't want to work out a long-term deal for him. Maybe it's not now that they trade him, but the trade rumors are really going to heat up at the NFL trade deadline. I'm going to go out and on a record and say this right now. I'm only trading Barkley for a first-round pick. And I can't believe I'm having to freaking even say these words. I am only going to trade Saquon Barkley for a first-round pick. I would be really enticed by a second-round pick. It's going to be hard for me to say no, but I'm going to stand my ground, and I'm going to stand on only trading him for a first-round pick because he is a very important piece to this offense. I know running backs don't matter. I know we devalued running backs. I know the running back market sucks. I know all of that, but you can't replace this production for pretty much anybody in the NFL. 1,300 yards, 10 touchdowns, 4.4 yards per pop, another 57 grabs. I mean, the guy touched the ball 350 times for the Giants last year and almost had 1,700 total yards. He was also a factor in the playoffs for the Giants. I mean, in that first game against the Vikings, he was really freaking good. He got us going. with that run off the left side where he bounced it out and he followed John Feliciano all the way to the end zone? What about that running back or that touchdown he had at the goal line where he carried Dalvin Tomlinson, 350-pound former Giant Dalvin Tomlinson, for 2 yards into the end zone to give the Giants the lead in the fourth quarter? You can't replace this guy. So if I am going to have to replace him, it's going to have to be for a first-round pick. The top 3 destinations I see Barkley potentially wanting to go to or being traded to, number 1 is the Buffalo Bills. We have heard time and time again over the last 16 months that Saquon Barkley has been linked to the Buffalo Bills. He's a guy that I think the Bills would be interested in, because when you talk about what do the Bills need, what is holding the Bills back from being a top team in the National Football League, it's the run game. You get into these late, cold months, they don't have any running back that they could just depend on. I do like the pickup of Damian Harris. I liked the draft pick of James Cook. Latavius Murray was cool 6 years ago, and Nyheim Hines is just another shifty running back. None of these guys are bell cows. None of these guys can change the tune of an offense. None of these guys can really just dominate a football game like Barkley. And the Bills, if they think they are a Saquon Barkley away from winning a Super Bowl, I could easily see Brandon Beane picking up the phone, calling up his own colleague and Joe Shane and trying to work out a deal. And if Saquon Barkley, the player, isn't enough motivation for the Buffalo Bills, maybe it might be just so they can keep him away from the Kansas City Chiefs, because I have the Kansas City Chiefs as the number 2 Saquon Barkley destination. Pretty much everything I just said about the Buffalo Bills can also be said about the Chiefs, except for Isaiah Pacheco is actually a decent running back, but he ain't no Saquon Barkley. He's a lot cheaper, no doubt about it, but he's not Barkley. And maybe the Chiefs want to keep Barkley away from the Bills. Maybe the Bills want to keep Barkley away from the Chiefs. So those are my top 2 teams. The third team I have on this list is not a contender. And it's a team that I don't think is going to be all that good next year. And that's the Chicago Bears, led by Justin Fields. The reason I think that they could be looking at the running back market is because they don't really have that many top-tier running backs. I like Khalil Herbert, good shifty back. He's someone that can definitely be a contributor in a backfield. Deontay Foreman, he was really good last year for the Panthers, acquired him in free agency. Roschon Johnson intrigued me in the draft process, and Travis Homer, he's RB4 for a reason. But the main reason, besides the fact that they could use a talent upgrade at the running back position, they are loaded with draft capital in 2024. They have 2 first-round picks in 2024. They have 2 fourth-round picks in 2024. They have 6 picks in the first 4 rounds in 2024. If Ryan Poles wants to give Justin Fields another weapon, that could be Saquon Barkley, and they can have one of the best rushing attacks in the NFL. We talked about 3 places Barkley could be traded to. We showed you his stats. We showed you what he said about the team. I asked you at the top of the show, would you trade Barkley for a first-round pick? Maybe your mind's been changed. Maybe you want to double down. Let me know in the comments section. Would you move Barkley for a first-round pick? Type Y for yes, type N for no. If you guys want to continue the conversation about Barkley, the Giants, and the trade rumors, hit me up on Twitter at @MarshallGreen_, and we'll see you later.